Have you noticed how split we are in our culture and communities across the world? Anyone looking around can see that these separations and animosities are intensifying. We have these divisions, these things that separate people, where instead we could have bridges, connections, relationships. When we are stimulated into a divisive frame of mind, and I'll explain that more in a moment, it alters our ability to respond to situations going on, and it diminishes our ability to actually perceive people. Here in the US, we have a very charged phrase, democracy is hanging in the balance. Now, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, in the US, that drives up a tremendous amount of anger and fear. Our nervous system is responding. And in those moments, we are being controlled and manipulated by our nervous system. Our choice is removed. Hi, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Rutstein, and I want to share today a bit about what's causing this rising tide of divisiveness, how it directly impacts you. Everyone is impacted by this. There's no spectators who don't have a feeling about this in some way. And also, I'd like to talk to you about what you can do about it on an inner and outer scale. So, divisiveness, just to make sure we're on the same page, divisiveness is this tendency to have a separation or an othering between a person or persons and other groups, cultures, religions, belief systems. Now, part of our evolutionary development over the last several 100,000 years has been that we can form cooperative groups in our tribes or clans or small communities. And then we also kept safety, which is the major function of our nervous system, to sense safety and to sense danger. Our nervous system is always looking for those clues and will always react if it senses any kind of danger. So divisiveness feeds on, in particular, having fear or anger or both um, stimulated in an individual. Now, advertising has known about this for 40 or 50 years. Advertising plays on those two basic emotions, the fear of being left out or not loved or accepted if you don't wear this deodorant or don't use this toothpaste, or anger that you've been doing the wrong thing for your appearance, or that you need to look better and be more like how other people think the attractiveness ideal is. Our nervous system is always reacting to what's going on. And in particular, something that a lot of people don't recognize is that everything we ingest in terms of news, reading, listening to, watching, social media even impacts our nervous system, because often what we see and read, the things that are most eye-catching, are often the things that have a strong element of anger or fear in their writing, in what's being talked about. And that language, that way of making you afraid for your safety, your nervous system will join in and say, okay, well, if I'm not safe because of immigrants, or I'm not safe because of unfair practices in labor towards women, or I'm not safe for this, then I have to get angry. I'll be afraid and I'm going to get angry because it's not just. Now, there are real issues that we're going to have real feelings about. But what I think most people don't recognize is, just like with advertising, which was manipulating us to do the things they want. They want to sell product. The best way to sell product is to make someone afraid they're not going to be loved, or they won't be seen as good enough if they don't have that product. In political conversations these days, in opinions and everything else that's going on, what's happening is that those two fears are being, the fear and the anger are being ignited again and again and again. So, with awareness of what's going on, you take back some of your sovereignty. You take back the ability to begin to make up your own mind based on what you really think versus what's coming up in your head when you're terrified. Because if I'm terrified, I'm not going to be thinking in the same rational or open minded way that I can when I'm more settled. If I'm in fear or anger, I'm only going to be seeing that there's an adversary, that they're wrong, I'm in danger, and I need to get away, or I need to kill them or stop them. So, paying attention to how you feel when you're ingesting things, just like a diet that's a junk diet, is going to not contribute to your well being or your health. A diet where we are taking in, and we have so many opportunities to do this, nervous system disruption, especially nervous system disruption that's focusing anger and fear on other people, actually is ultimately toxic for us. It creates a long time imbalance in our nervous system, and it impacts our immune system. So health and well-being are negatively impacted the longer that you stay sustained in these states of fight or flight or shutdown. Now, the other issue is, well, then how becoming aware of what's going on is important, but the next step would be how not to contribute. And so one of the ways, and it builds from the first suggestion I made, is to notice how when you ingest things, even conversations with friends, how they impact you. And are you soothed by what they said, or are you upset, angry, and frightened, or despairing and disappointed? Notice this. Because one of the ways that you cannot contribute, that you can help not spread divisiveness, is by being aware of the impact of what you say or share to others, how that's going to impact their nervous system. So, noticing this is going to be one of your biggest ways of both helping it stop controlling you, understanding what's happened when it does, and also on one very concrete level, you not needing to um, help contribute to it by sort of being more aware of how and what you say. So, one last thing about getting into these states in divisiveness, whether it's anger or fear, when we're in that state, we are driven to win. I need to win this fight and beat you up or make you wrong or prove to you that I'm right, or I need to run away. I need to win by running away and you can't get me. And winning means one person wins and one person loses. If we take another perspective, and this perspective is able to be connected with by our sweet spot, our window of tolerance in our nervous system, not in our defensive states, then we can be in connection. We can be in relationship. And so, one of the guiding thoughts you could have as well is when you notice you're getting pulled into divisiveness, when you notice your system getting up that way and you're seeing other people as threats or dangerous. And again, there could be some truth to that, but most of the time it's a projection. And so next time it does come up, you could say, connecting, not winning. Connecting rather than winning. That helps take us out of divisiveness because then we're willing or more willing and open to actually connect with the other, making them more us than keeping them separated as other. In the future, I'll go into some other ways to be able to work with healing the tendency for divisiveness in yourself. Thank you for spending the time here. Goodbye for now.